Welcome to the Bowel Chronicles, where we dive deep into the world of bowel health. I'm your host, Nikki Kilpatrick, and on this podcast we have raw and candid conversations with individuals facing various bowel conditions and illnesses. Through personal stories and shared experiences, we illuminate resilience and courage in the face of adversity. Be reminded that each story is personal and unique. These conversations are not to be taken as medical advice or to replace guidance from a doctor or healthcare provider. Our aim is to inspire and empower through these amazing stories, amplifying voices often unheard. So join us as we embark on this journey together. Sit back, listen, and be inspired. Enjoy the episode. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bowel Chronicles. I'm your host, Nikki Kilpatrick, and today we are joined by the lovely Ayesha here in Northern Ireland. She's actually in Ballymena. Ayesha, sorry, we've just been talking about someone else and I get confused. Ayesha, it's so good to have you here sharing your story, and thank you so much for taking time to share it with us today.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's nice to be here.
You're so welcome. So Ayesha, we actually met in person, I think last month maybe, and
Yeah.
have been connecting on social media. And I've heard a little bit of your story, and that was a diagnosis of IBD back in 2019. So why don't we kind of start off there by telling us a little bit about your diagnosis, and then we'll just let your story unravel as we go.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, around back in 2019 in June time, I was having like a lot of symptoms. So anytime I went to the toilet or that, I was passing a lot of blood, mucus, really bad stomach pains, blood a lot of the time too. So I just got to the stage where I just wasn't really eating. Like I would have just thought, whenever I'm not eating, I'm not really in pain and I'm not bloating and I'm not running to the toilet as much. So kind of just got to the stage where I was like, I'm really feeling like I wasn't even really going to do, well, I was at that time trying to go to the gym and work out. So I kind of just got to the stage where I was like, in the mornings, I was like, I'll not drink any coffee, like just kind of drink water and plain drinks. And then I started this thing where I just kept drinking peppermint tea as well to try and help with the bloating. But yeah, then it would have got to like dinner time and stuff, and I was like, I can't really eat dinner because it's going to upset my stomach. So I kind of just wouldn't have really ate. And then maybe by night time, I was like, I'll munch on some crisps or just something plain, or like maybe just potatoes or something like that. And then again, the symptoms were just getting like a lot worse. Like I would have been getting up during the night to go to the toilet, having like sometimes I would have had really bad nausea as well. And I just felt like if I like nearly the healthier I ate, the more sick I was feeling. Like I feel like veg and like just a lot of meat and stuff would have actually really upset me more so than maybe greasy foods and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I actually got in contact with like my GP and did like a fecal calprotectin test, and I think it was really quite high. It came back, and they were like, you need to go up to A&E. So I went up, but bearing in mind, like weeks prior to this, I would have went up to A&E, and they were like, oh, you have like IBS, you have piles, like. And actually, one of the consultants actually turned around and was like, just go home and keep doing what you're doing. But then my mom was like, she can't keep doing what she's doing because she can't go to the gym. She's not really able to sit at her computer and work. Like she's really not doing well. And they're like, oh, well, all her tests are fine. Like everything's grand. And I was like, right, well, maybe I am okay. Like I'll just go home. So yeah, once then the GP had the fecal calprotectin test and still samples and that, then he was like, you need to go up to A&E. And I did go up and they actually admitted me. And then just a few days later, I got a camera test and they were like saying it has showed Crohn's. And they're like, are you aware of this? But in my family, my aunt has Crohn's, and my uncle, and then my father's side, my uncle also has Crohn's as well. So I was always aware of what it was, but I was like, I can't believe this because I felt like for years, like maybe since the age of 13, I did show like a lot of symptoms. But I always had been misdiagnosed. Um, and then it was around the end of June, and I was like in hospital, and they were like, we'll start you in, of course, with steroids and all these different treatments. And at this stage, like, I just didn't really have an appetite or anything at all. So I was taking the steroids and taking like these little forceps drinks, and I was getting better though. And my whole thing was, me and my partner, we had a holiday booked to Ibiza, for 2 weeks time, and I was like, please, can I go on holidays? And like I didn't know what way to discharge or that was going to work or how long I'd be in for, but I was in for around a week or so, and they were like, we really would advise you not going on holidays, and I was like, I don't want to cancel it, like it's paid and I really want to go. And they were like, well, we'll see how you get on kind of thing. So then I did get discharged, and they were like, maybe if you are really good at taking all your medication, because the amount of steroids I was on and stomach tablets, uh, and all these different tablets. It turned out that it was around 28 to 30 tablets a day, just obviously with the prednisolone like being so high on such a high dosage. So they were like, as long as you're very good at that, maybe not drinking much alcohol while you're on holidays and really looking after yourself, then you can maybe go. So I was like, yeah, as long as I get to go on holidays. And then I think actually I was fine on holidays and I did take it really easy. And then once we came home, then my stomach and everything kind of started flaring again. So then I started azathioprine. And I was actually on that medication for a good while too, but I did have a lot of side effects from it. Like obviously the really puffy min face and like my joints and that would have got really sore as well.
So is that a type of biologic treatment?
No, azathioprine is a tablet, but it's more like it's used for like a lot of different cancers, but it kind of tries to keep like you know the way obviously with Crohn's and colitis, like our bodies kind of attack our immune system. The azathioprine tries to kind of keep that at bay and kind of restores everything there. But
Okay.
yeah, so I was on that, and that was actually I was on it for a while, and it seemed to be doing the job. And then it was actually my friend's wedding then in June 2022. Like I knew I was bridesmaid in the wedding, and I was like quite stressed about this because I think I just knew that my body just wasn't the way it was prior to being on these treatments and stuff, and I was like, I'm not feeling great again. Like I'm running to the toilet a lot, um, just having all the same symptoms as before. And I think I was just stressed because I was like in my head, I was like, how am I gonna like obviously just being bridesmaid? I was like, how am I gonna walk down the aisle and not have to go to the toilet? Like I think I honestly do think stress was always my biggest trigger. Like I would be a real stressor. So I've been told that that is my main trigger for my IBD. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so I got for my friend's wedding on the Friday, and then she had a day two on the Saturday, which was really good fun. And then that Sunday, I really suffered, and I was in hospital, then admitted that Monday.
My goodness.
And then again, my inflammation markers were just through the roof, and they were like, you know what, oral treatment's not really working. We're going to have to look at biologics this time. So I was in for like a 2 week admission then, and they started me on infliximab.
And how did you find the infliximab then? Because obviously nothing was working up to this point. I mean, we go from 2019 to 2022, you're
Yeah.
having repeated flare-ups. So infliximab, 2 weeks in hospital. How did that stay go?
I think I was just kind of like, I think I kind of like, they were kind of different between infliximab and injections, but I was always in my head, I was like, there's no way I can inject myself. Like, I don't think I could do that because I don't really like getting my bloods and stuff done. So anytime I do have to get them done, I won't look. So I was like, there's no way I would trust myself to inject myself. So then it was the infliximab that I decided on. But no, I think I did feel good benefits from the first session of it. And then it was going to be every 8 weeks. Um, for like a 4 hours at a time, usually just by the time I get everything set up. So at that time, I just would have brought like my laptop or a book and AirPods and stuff, just to get the session in. But no, I was okay on it. Like I did find good benefits from it. So that obviously started in June, and then it was maybe September time or so, I had my second session of it. And then again, I was having really bad symptoms by October time, like worse than I'd been before. But at this time as well, like me and my partner Leon, like we were trying to get our first house and stuff too. So I do think I just had everything heightened. Like there was so much going on, like being so busy at work, trying to save for get a mortgage, like all the stress of that. And then obviously having these treatments and hoping they would work. So yeah, by end of October, so I started having really bad flare up again, and like in my workplace, like I actually work in the Northern Trust as well. So the girls in my office were like, "Are you okay? Like you're spending a lot." Like I would be very open with them, very good friends with them. And they're like, "You're at the toilet a lot more than usual and stuff." And I was like, "No, I know." Like I was nearly at the stage where I was just at the toilet more than my desk at some days. And they're like, "Maybe you should go get checked out." And I was like, "No, no, I'm grand." I feel like even with Crohn's or colitis, I just feel like you nearly think. I don't know if our pain threshold is like really good, or you just kind of get into the stage where you're like, you know what, I'm dealing with it, I'm fine, I'll keep going. Yeah, like it's just like your new normal. You're just like, yeah, I'm grand, I'll keep going. So I think I just kind of was so caught up in everything else that I had going on in life that I was like, I'm grand, like but at this stage I was passing a lot of blood and stuff again. Then anytime that happens, I'm like, oh, maybe I should contact my IBD nurses. But then I was like, oh, no, I'll be grand. Like I'm on my infusions, like I'll be great, I'll get through it. So maybe I did get to the stage where I was like, should have probably said sooner. But yeah, so I was passing all the blood again, mucus, appetite wasn't great, getting up during the night and stuff to go to the toilet and that, but just tripping on, like obviously going to the gym, doing stuff after work, trying to just juggle everything. And then obviously in work, I would be very friendly with my managers and stuff, and everyone was aware that obviously I had at this stage, we did think it was Crohn's. And everyone was like, my manager was like, maybe you should go over to ED just to get checked out, just maybe get your bloods done. Because some of them would have been saying, like your eyes look funny or you just don't look as well as you usually do. And I was like, no, I'm fine. So yeah, so it just got to one stage where I was like, maybe I should just listen to what everyone's saying and actually go over. So I did go over to ED. And it's handy obviously because it's just up my work anyway. And whenever I went over, they were like, yeah, like your inflammation markers are very high here. Like we're gonna have to admit you again. And I was like, oh, great. Like I really don't want to be in hospital because it's just not. I was like, I'm too busy. I have too much to do. Like trying to sort house and stuff. Like I don't have time to be sitting in hospital. So yeah, I went over and they were like, yeah, you're staying in. And obviously, like I had my own gastro team then because they were aware of my Crohn's and stuff at this stage. But after a few tests and stuff, they were like, we need to get another camera test done. And then after the camera test, we were like, it looks more to be ulcerative colitis now rather than Crohn's. And I was like, okay. But I would have always suffered a lot from mouth ulcers and stuff. And I know a lot of people say Crohn's affects anywhere in the body. So I was like, I just always believed I would have had Crohn's. But they were like, no, your colon seems to be very inflamed and there's ulcers there. So we do think it's more the diagnosis of ulcerative colitis this time. And I was like, right, okay. And then, they'd mentioned, they were like, we'll maybe try injections or another type of infusion or possibly go down a bit of surgery. And I was like, no, I don't need surgery. Like, no way. Like, I was like, I'm happy enough to try a new treatment. And that was fine. Like, even in my admission, like, I knew I was sick, but I didn't feel like really, really sick. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just kind of think, oh, I'm okay. Like, I'll be grand. So in my head, like, I was texting the girls in the office and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll hopefully get out soon. Like, I should be home soon, home with a new treatment and back to work. But yeah, so I got admitted that Tuesday and then had a camera test that Thursday, and then things were just quiet over the weekend. I was just waiting to really start a new treatment then that following week. And then my consultant came back and was like, Ayesha, it's quite unusual, but we'd really like to do another camera test. And I was like, no, I really hate them. Like, I don't want to get another camera test. And he's like, no, but he was like, I didn't do your last one, so I'd just like to be sure just before starting a new treatment. And I was like, right, okay. So then it was that Thursday I was scheduled in for a camera test and went down and he was in the room with there was another consultant, and I just feel like whenever you're in the camera, like, and if you're not completely knocked out, which I wasn't, I just like gas in there. I feel like the nurses are all very chatty and stuff, but this time I just felt it was very eerie and different. And I was like, why is no one being as chatty and bubbly to me? Like, I was like, is there anything wrong? And I kind of in my head, I was like, what, this is weird. Like, I don't like this feeling. So yeah, then after the camera test, my consultant came out and he was like, we've no other option but surgery. And I was like, no way, like, not a chance, like you're lying. Like, I was in denial. I was like, I'm not getting surgery. And he's like, Ayesha, I'm sorry, but like, he was like, your colon's really not good. Like, we really don't have any other choice here. Like, we need to operate. And I was like, not a chance. Like, I was like, I just want a new treatment. Like, there's still time. Like, I just want to try something else. And he's like, Ayesha, I'm really sorry. I'm going to get the surgeon to come up and speak to you now. And I was like, no, I'm not speaking to him. Don't want to see anyone. I was like, I want to go home. Me probably just being quite dramatic, the dramatic girl I am. And then of course I was lying in bed and the surgeon, like this man came up to me and he was the surgeon, he's like, nice to meet you. And I was like, don't want to speak to you. Probably I feel so awful now. They were probably like, this girl is just how do we work with her? But he was like, look, Ayesha, I'm really sorry. He was like, this is Thursday afternoon. He was like, I need to do your surgery first thing tomorrow, or you might not be here on Monday. And I was like, no, I was like, I think you're probably just saying that so that I agree. And I was like, still in denial. I was like, no, I'm not getting surgery. And he was like, Ayesha, like, I'm really sorry. Like, this is as black as white as it is. Like, it's my job. I'm not going to be dramatic. I wouldn't lie to you, kind of thing. And I was like, right, okay. And then obviously, I don't know, like, I just like nearly screamed the hospital then. I was like, this is just not what I expected to hear at all. And then I was obviously really upset and that. And he was like, look, I'll give you some time to process, but I'll be in touch. And then obviously I had my phone in that back. So I spoke to my partner and my mom and that. And I was like, yeah, I have to get surgery. Like, it just doesn't feel real. And then went back to like the ward. And I don't know, I just, even though like they told me that I had to get surgery, I was like how? Like, I'm only, like, what age was I back then? 26. I was like, there's no way. Like, it just seems too early. Like, I don't know. I was like,
A total shock to go from
yeah,
just being admitted to hospital. You knew in your body, I'm really unwell. There's something not right. Things are changing again. You're passing a lot of blood. But as you said, when you got admitted, you knew your inflammatory markers and that were high.
yeah,
Yeah, you felt unwell, but you didn't feel too unwell. You kind of
yeah,
thought, I'm okay, I'm sick, but like I'm not going to be in hospital for that long because this is just how my body is. This is my normal. And a few days I'll be out to then being told, no, camera test, another camera test, and now major surgery
yeah,
at 26 years of age. And that's a huge, huge shock. It's a big thing to mentally process and take in when you don't have an option. You're basically being told we're doing this surgery tomorrow, end of. It has to be done, or you may
yeah,
not be here on Monday. And that tells everyone that your colon was in such a bad way with this disease. There was no other way around it. It had to be done to preserve your life, and you're still here to tell the tale.
yeah.
Um, what was that experience like for you? What was that experience like for Leon and your family? To hear this news and have to adapt to it very, very quickly.
I don't know. I feel like even though like I knew I had like IBD for some time, like I was always aware of stomas. Like, I follow people on social media that have them. So I was like, maybe that would be something that I would need in later life, but I just never would have thought needing it in the age of like in my 20s. Um, so obviously like like Liam was the first person I told and he was like, that's completely fine, like we'll get through this and all. And I was like, no, but we won't. Like, I can't have surgery. Like, it's not an option kind of thing. And he was like, you'll be fine. Like, you'll do it. And then obviously, once I got back to the room, then like my hospital room, the stoma nurses then came up to meet me. That was like the next step process. And they were so lovely. Like, I just had like this lovely nurse, and she was like, you will be so fine. Like, I'm here to help you as much as you want. And all. And I was like, but like, there's no way I'm gonna have like this stomach bag in me tomorrow. And she was like, you'll get through it. Like, we'll be, like you're fit and healthy and well. Like, we'll get you back on your feet and all of this. And I was like, that's just crazy. Like I just felt like a dream or something. And then obviously with the whole stoma process, like you have to mark in your body where you want it to be. And she was like, oh, like I had to like change my jammy bottoms and like try and like figure out what it was going to be with the marker. And I was like, well, what if that's not the right place? Like I was just like I don't know, like what if like I can't wear jeans again, or like what if I can't wear enough high waist it? And she's like, no, 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 but like that's why we're gonna take some time and like sort it out and stuff. And I was like, right, okay. And at this stage, like my mom was actually up with me, Leon was finishing work. So mom was like, it's okay, like calm down, like don't worry. And I was like, this is just so weird. Like I don't know what's going on. Like it was just really overwhelming. Um, but the nurse and all was so lovely. Like, she explained everything and just talked me through it all and was like, if you've got any questions at all, I'm here. And like she was just, I just felt like she was the loveliest lady. Like she just made me feel so at ease. And then obviously like I was like, oh my goodness, like this is tomorrow, like this is crazy. And then Leon was coming up to see me that evening, and I was like I feel like my head was just everywhere. I was like, maybe like Leon doesn't want a girlfriend that has a stoma bag. Like, so he came up and I was like, I hadn't had all day, and I was like, so he came up and I was like, you know what, Leon, like, say, like I know we're in the middle of getting our house and there's so much going on, but if you want to leave me, like I totally understand. Like I was like it's so life changing. Like I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna be like I don't know how I'm gonna get through it, like the recovery process. Like I was like, if you don't want to be with me when I have a stomach bag, like I understand. Like not, I was like, you nearly have a free pass if you want to dump me or whatever. Like it's completely fine. He's like, wise up. And I was like, no, but honestly, like it's just not like, I don't know, it's not like getting like a wee arm in your, like a cast in your arm for a while. Like it's completely like with me for life. And then obviously if there's a possibility of a reversal, then that's like another process, or getting your bag made permanent. Like it's just something that's just forever kind of thing. But he was like, no, never, like don't be silly and stuff. And I was like, okay, well the option's there. Like if you change my mind, let me know kind of thing. Like, I was just kind of like, I think my head was just everywhere, yeah. And then like
You do, because like I was going to ask you the question, do you think that the hardest part of that was accepting that your body is going to look differently now because
yeah,
you're a young female, you're a young attractive female, you like to work out, your body and how you look is something that you work on. So was that the hardest part, or was it the actual surgery? I've got to go through surgery. I know for me, it probably was my body's going to change. It's going to look differently. And when you're
Yeah.
in a relationship, obviously you're intimate with your partner, and those things matter. Those are things that you think about. And, you know, there are people out there who are in a very loving relationship and their other halves can't deal with it. They can't just handle it at all. And I think the more open you are and the more you communicate that in your relationship, it works. And I want to go as far as saying you're still together. um, are you engaged?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going, didn't want to just assume there, but I thought in my head you were engaged. So you're still together, post surgery, and he has stood by you because he loves you, and it doesn't change. It doesn't have to impact
Yeah.
the relationship, but that doesn't take away from going through that thought process of my body is going to change. And
Definitely.
every day in life after you have surgery, you still have those thoughts of this is me for forever. Like this is
Yeah.
it. This is never going to change. As you said, it's not a cast on your arm that you're going to take off. This is an adaptation to our bodies, and this is how life is now. And
Yeah.
and we're in it, and we every day we have to battle those thoughts. So tell us about surgery and how that went, what it was like for you, what it was like for the family and your recovery, and how
Yeah.
it's been.
It's actually really strange. So my surgery was obviously, I was told that next morning. But then obviously if like any other emergencies and stuff came in, it can get pushed back. So I think it was like 6 a.m. that next morning. The nurse came in to me and was like, right, you need to get up, get showered, get your gown on, stockings and stuff. And I was like, I actually don't have the energy. I felt like, I don't know if I was so stressed about needing my surgery that I had made myself more sick, but I really did feel awful that Friday. And then I was like trying to just get the strength. I was like, right, I really do need to go shower just in case they come down to get me and I'm not ready. So I eventually got myself into the shower, got sorted. And then I had to take like the drinks to kind of flush about it before surgery, like that, the lemony water. But I was like drinking away at that and I really did feel so sick. Like I was like, I really don't feel good. And obviously, like I had my friends and partner and family and stuff contacting me that day, but I actually felt like I couldn't even text back. Like I just felt really ill. And I actually got to the stage where I just went to the toilet and just kept booking. I just couldn't stop. And I was like, I don't know if that's because my colon's maybe so bad and that's why they're like, you need your surgery, or if I'm getting myself so worked up. But I just remember like obviously I was in a side room and I had my only bathroom and I was just like tugging the string and I said to the nurses, like, I can't stop booking here. Like I know, do you know when I'm going for surgery? Like I know I'm really unwell. And they were like, Ayesha, hopefully if you're like, they were like, you don't look great. And I couldn't stop vomiting. They were like, hopefully you will get your surgery. Like, hopefully you're not going to be too sick for it. And I was like, I need it because I really don't know what's wrong with me today. Um, so then I think the anaesthetist and all came down and it was about two, half two. Half two, I think I went down to theatre and I was just like, I just felt so sick with nerves. Like the nerves were so much. I was like, whenever I wake up, like I am going to have a stoma bag. And then I think you're always just like, what if something goes wrong in the surgery? Like, what if like something doesn't work? Like, you just always overthink. So yeah, I went down into theatre and I just remember the anaesthetist. She was like, right, we're gonna give you your injection. She was like, count back to 10. And I honestly think I got to about 7. And then I remember waking up, just in the recovery bay. And I just remember waking up and just thinking, my tummy feels really sore. But I think at this time, I think I asked the nurse because I didn't have my phone on, so I was like, what time is it? And I think it could have been about 10, half 10. But I just remember thinking, like waking up, just thinking, I just felt so different, but I felt like really happy. I don't know if it was like the medication still wearing off, but like, yeah, I just felt like really like airy fairy nearly. And there was another girl beside me, she just had her gallbladder out and she was like so happy as well. So we were both just sitting there and the nurses were so lovely. And then I remember thinking, like, wonder what time it is, like I need my phone. And I was aware of like just peeing from my stomach, but I was like, I'm not gonna look like anytime soon. So I think I was back down in the ward about half 12, 1 a.m. And just didn't look at anything at all. And they were like, the summer nurses will be up to see you tomorrow. So they came out that morning then and they're so lovely, like, and they were like, um, just talking me through stuff and the process it was going to be, and then physio and I'll come around and they're like, come on out of bed, and then you're like, no, I can't get up, I'm too sore. But I think you actually need that. Like you do need someone to push you so that you're like, you know what, just need to get set up for the initial first time, get out of bed for the first time. Like that does help. So I think it was maybe that was obviously the weekend. I was just recovering. It was actually funny. So my surgery was on the Friday and then it was mine and Leon's anniversary that Saturday. And he came up to the hospital to see me in the afternoon visit and the evening visit. And I think I slept the whole time. I couldn't stop sleeping. And I was like, but it was so nice that he was there. But I literally just slept the clock around. And I think it was actually by Sunday I started coming back to life more. And then Monday, the stoma nurses came around and visited, and they were so lovely. They were like, right, we're going to do a bag change. And I was like, can't. And I was like, no, actually, I want to get home, so I'm going to try it. I can. I'll be able to do it. And they're like, you will be able to do it. You'll be fine. So like I looked and I was like, this just looks, it's just so bizarre. You're just like, it's just weird. But no, I just like obviously the stoma nurses helped me, and I did a bag change and all, and got a shower, which was great. And I just felt like more alive again. And I was like, okay, like that's like the first hurdle passed. And the stoma nurses obviously came up every other day, and then the surgeon came in to check on me, and they're like, hopefully you get home soon. And I think it was actually by that Wednesday then I got discharged. But I definitely know like I put a front on to get home. Like I was like, I'm doing my bag changes, I'm fine. Like I'm gonna get home. I just want my own bed. So yeah, and then my family and friends were great. Like they were all out visiting me, and everyone came to see me when I came home. But I don't know, it's just even now thinking back on it, it still feels like a blur. Like it's just like it amazes me like what our bodies can go through, and like now I just feel so grateful. Like I'm back to the gym. Like my stomach really does not like. I know a lot of people do have a lot of problems, but mine just seems to. It doesn't like I'm lucky. Touch wood, I don't get too many leaks, or mine's is just very not super active, but it just seems to be good for me. So it's like nice that way as well. Like I just nearly feel grateful now that I'm obviously not having any pain from colitis anymore, really, unless well, at the minute I'm in a bit of a flare up. But like it's just nice to have like a normal life again and be back at the gym. And like even when I got my surgery, I was like, there's no way I'll be able to dress the way I used to dress. Like you obviously like wear high-waisted clothes, like little tops, body sets. Like I was like, I'll never be able to do that again. And like I'm just doing everything I did before.
Yeah.
So like that's just such a nice thing as well.
It's just about owning that confidence, isn't it? And
Yeah.
saying, this is not going to define me, this is not going to take over my life. I'm still
Yeah.
the same person. And I know there are moments when I'll put a dress on and go, oh, not feeling this, change it. Or there's other times where I'll just be like, oh no, I feel good tonight, I'm going to wear this.
Yeah.
And it's a choice, you can come out of surgery and say, okay, going to change my style now, going to wear baggy clothes for the rest of my life, going to live in leggings.
Mhm.
Or you can say, no, I'm going to live in leggings and a belly top or the body contrast.
Yeah.
It's a decision that we get to make, and we're in control of it. How um eating and things, can you eat a normal diet now? How does that work for you? You can go out, you can socialize, you're back to the gym, you can do all of those things. How,
Yeah.
how are you managing nutrition and things?
Well, like before my surgery, like I couldn't have ate like sweet corn, anything like even less, like just veg and stuff really used to upset my stomach. But now like I eat everything. Even pizzas and all beforehand would have really annoyed my stomach, but I'm probably a bit bad. Like I probably eat stuff that I shouldn't eat with the stomach. Like I do, like I love sweet corn, but I'll just anything that I love that I know I shouldn't have, I will chew really, really, really well. Like chew until there's like a baby food consistency almost, and just hope that I don't get a blockage. I haven't had one yet, so fingers crossed. But no, I honestly anything like I eat spicy foods, drink alcohol, yeah, like I feel like my stomach's probably like she's really being risky today, but no, I seem to be able to do and eat quite a good bit. So yeah.
Good. You live in the moment.
Yeah.
It's incredible to hear what you've come through. You're an absolute star. You really are. It's so difficult. Very, very young, holding down a job, holding down a relationship, buying a new house, having that holiday book that you were hell bent on going on, and your stoma has not held you back. I've seen some photographs. You've been away on holiday with that stoma, and it doesn't define you in any way. And I know that you're sharing your journey there on public, on social media, out in the public, and I
Yeah.
will be sharing Ayesha's handles here below. below the podcast for you to follow along with her journey. Ayesha, before we wrap up today, is there one piece of information, one little golden nugget that you could leave our audience with today if they were facing kind of a similar journey or similar conditions to yourself?
It's probably really cliche, and I'm sure like you'll totally agree, but like obviously when I knew I was getting my surgery, I was like, this will be me like hiding at home, going out wearing baggy clothes for the rest of my life forever. But I just feel like actually, like I hemmed and had so much when I had my surgery. I was like, I'll never, like only my close friends and family and stuff will know I have a stoma. But honestly, just sharing my story and being open about my story has been like the best thing. Like even when I did have my surgery, like I had my surgery that Friday, the next morning, like I had messaged two girls that I knew locally that had stomas and was like, I've literally just got a stoma. Like, I don't know where my head is at. And like, they were just like, oh my goodness, like, you will be totally fine. Like, be kind to yourself. Like, get your nails done, get your hair done. Like, it's all a process. Like, you'll be great. Like, you know, like, and I just feel like that was so helpful. Like, obviously, I had amazing support from my friends, family, and partner, but like, just having them that actually went through it and could relate to it, I was like, that's so helpful. Um, so yeah, I just feel like sharing your story and like even like yourself having like the ultimate script, like it's just so nice having that connection because no one can really compare or like know what we're going through unless you've been through it yourself. So I really do feel like just being able to speak to people, like obviously I can complain to Leon like all the time or my friends or whatever, but like you understand because you go through it yourself, and it's just nice having that connection and just nice. Like I just feel like we're such a family, and it's just so nice trying to raise awareness and trying to break the stigma because so many people like just associate stomas like as being like just not nice or like dirty or associated with older people, but like it's so common and like it could happen to anyone and you just never know what's in store. But yeah, it's just nice having the community, and I just think social media is great too because like there's people like my in my family, like there's people that have stomas as well, and they're maybe just not up to date on social media. And I just keep saying like social media is great if you can just, persevere and, go on social, and they're like, oh, I can't go on holidays with that, but you can, like you can do anything and more with a stoma. Like you just need to tell yourself that, and you need to talk to other people that have been through it and like just try and overcome that barrier and just yeah, like just have more faith in yourself and just understand that life does continue with a stoma bag as well.
Yeah, I love that. And that was something that helped me adapt to my surgery, overcome it, listening to podcasts, listening and following
Yeah.
on social media. You soak in and you start to, walk in that mindset of what you're watching. So if you're in a negative environment all of the time, your thinking is going to be very, very toxic. Whereas if you put yourself into positive communities and stuff, and hear all the good inspirational stories that give you hope, well then you start to, okay, there is hope in this. I am going to get through this. I will be stronger. I will have the confidence to do these things. And I guess it's like everything. There was a time where I wouldn't have ventured near TikTok. I didn't know how to deal with it. Instagram and Facebook was enough for me. And I would have called myself a technology dinosaur. And here I am today winging a podcast together. Um, and I've connected with so many people through TikTok, and a lot I've
Yeah.
found are even older than me. It's an older generation that are in there and they're wanting to find out information. And I think the more we share, the more we connect, the more we start to say, okay, right, that there is no stigma with these things. We can talk about our poop, we can talk about stomas, and we can own it and be confident people, able-bodied people with a better quality of life. And really, it is a choice. It's our own choice whether to be happy or to be something else. And I love that you are of a positive mindset. And yeah, just as we wrap up, I want to say congratulations. You've just taken on a brand ambassadorship for one of our ostomy companies. I'm not going to name it on here
Okay.
because we're not advertising, but I want to take this moment to say well done. Perfect girl for the job to be
Oh, thank you so
advertising
much.
everything about stomas. And oh, I'm getting a bit emotional because I feel like a proud mommy. Yeah, so well done on that. And like I said, Ayesha's handles will be tagged here below the show. Go give her a like, give her a follow, give her some support as she is vulnerable and shares her journey on social media. Ayesha, once again, thank you so much for taking the time here today to share your story with us. And Yep, that's us done for today, guys. Join us next week when we will bring you another inspirational story. So do stay tuned.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.